When it comes to fiscal responsibility, land use planning and what you do as a land use in your role in improving projects can have more impact on your fiscal well-being than probably anything else you can do. It's also the most fun you can have in the building, I think, legally. It gets you going. I mean, planners are live people. They're passionate about what they do. They care about what they do. But let me give you a couple examples. You coming here today, you probably drove down Harvard Drive. It's great if you can have a community and say, boy, we want every street to look like Harvard Drive. So instead of having a 38-foot right-of-way that every 5 years you have to resurface, you have a 108-foot right-of-way and you got to cut the grass once a week and you got to water. And your city manager will look at you and go, boy, that's great, but who's going to, once a developer gives it to us and plants it, who's going to water it? Who's going to cut it? Likewise, you can like underground parking. But if you don't make the developer or the person that's going to own the underground parking put security in it, you're going to have an increase in auto thefts, your crime rate's going to go up, property values can go down, or you're going to have an increase in police costs. I spent 20 years in Silicon Valley, in Mountain View is the heart of, we always thought it was the heart of Silicon Valley. That's where Larry and Sergey and Google are located. Up until February of 2001, for those of you invested in .com stocks, they were turning every liquor store into a .com startup. They were turning residential property. They wanted to turn it into office buildings. They wanted to, we had situations where we're losing all our car repair shops because they were becoming .com office buildings. And they were also, instead of having 3 mechanics work in a shop, you had 30 little kids that came out with a computer sciences degree and no parking. So loads of impact. What's going on in Silicon Valley right today is something called ITR, industrial to residential, meaning any industrial property that's not being used can be sold for $5 to $6 million an acre for housing, and they want to put 70 units an acre. You as a council will get to make that policy decision. If you decide you want a lot of housing, you may be losing your tax base. So that's what this is a big picture on land use and why it's so important.